You've got the mask. You got the screen, the splash shield, and you need those in the OR. And you've got your little hairnet on, you got your little gown on backwards, and you're strapped into that. You got this glove on and that glove on, and 2 other sets of gloves,
and the bright light shining right on, everybody's hooking you.
Oh yeah, it's like this all of the time.
Exactly. That's why it's like when people like now. I will say, running around the doing not doing surgery and running around. It's like, okay, this is getting a little toasty. But that's when you just take it off for a second, breathe in the air, and put it back on.
Yeah, it doesn't happen in the OR.
No, it doesn't. No, trust me, I know.
You can't even walk away. You have to walk out. And then you have to scrub back up.
Oh, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
God forbid if you have to go to the bathroom.
You hold it.
You hold it. Yeah.
The worst thing is, you ever notice when you put your COVID masks on, your nose and mouth start itching?
Yep. Try doing that. And you can't scratch that itch.
You can't scratch that itch in the OR.
Nope. You have to ride it out and hope to God it goes away. Yeah.
And I have known that like the tip of my nose will end up itching, and I'm there.
Yep, I've done that, just kind of wiggling. To distract myself a little bit to get it off my mind. Oh yeah.
And then you're like, whoa, I'm starting to get dizzy.
God forbid you lock your knees. You lock your knees, you're going to hit the deck.
Yeah, that's actually one thing I learned with marching band is not to lock the knees.
I actually was helping with a C-section, and my blood sugar bottomed out.
Oh no!
While I was holding the patient.
Oh God!
I looked at the doctor and I said,
"That's not good.
I don't feel so good." And he goes, "Oh my gosh! Grab the patient! Grab the patient!"
He grabbed me. They didn't care about you. They just wanted to make sure.
Oh no! I slid down his legs. The doctor grabbed me, and the other nurses grabbed the patient because she was draped over me to get the epidural. So she was literally laying over me.
Oh no!
And I'm like, I don't feel so good. And he grabs me.
Anytime I ever heard somebody say that, I'm like, go sit down. Somebody get them something to like. Oh,
but I couldn't. Yeah. And if you hit the floor in the OR, you're done.
Yeah.
So you have to go back out and scrub back in.
Yep. So it's the same rules in my world.
They took me outside the OR, propped me up alongside the wall, and I slide down the wall. And then,
oh my gosh,
I was told to get back in there.
No, just take a breather. 5 minutes. Here you go.
Pick yourself up and get back in there.
You'll be good.
You'll be good.
Rub some dirt on it. You'll be all right.
Oh,
they're trying to hand me crackers. They were trying to hand me crackers. I'm like,
no, you need sugar. You need like juice or like fruit or something. Not.
But I'm allergic to gluten.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh wow.
Making the problem worse.
You want to end up in one of those beds? Because that's where it's going to be.
Yeah, they made me. But I had to go back in.
Oh, we lost Kate.
Oh, we lost Kate.
Oh my gosh. She'll be back.
Their Wi-Fi went wonky.
Oh my goodness. Yep.
But anyway, back to wieners.
Back to wieners. Kate to talk about animal wieners now. Well, we will. She'll be back. She'll be back. So I was sitting and thinking. I was going through a chat earlier, and I decided, you know what? We had some pretty funny shit up in our chat. One of the things that popped up is this lovely little of what the fuck is this person actually thinking? I don't know how to describe this guy, but besides the fact that he is evidently very well hung, maybe I don't know either that or that's just really baggy.
I really want to know where you find clothing like that.
I don't
His wife
know.
probably
And
made
why
it
in
for him.
public?
Wish.
I
I
Well, yeah.
found
Wish.
I found on
I
Wish
d-
yesterday. I was just looking around on Wish, and I found a pair of nylons for men that have a wiener hole,
uh-huh.
and it looks like a sock to go around it.
Actually, that makes sense. That would
Okay.
be a lot better, I guess.
Like
since-
a banana hammock type deal?
No,
I think-
it was open on the end.
I think more so like those. You know how you've seen those like knit. Let's call them cock sweaters. 'Cause I don't know how else to call them. You just like literally like
Okay.
they envelop. They they envelop everything. I think it's the
A tea
same.
cozy for the
Yeah.
Just hearing you say the word cock just corrected me.
You're welcome.
I was at Dragon Con one time, and we were going down the escalator, and this guy walks in front of me, and no joke, he has on a very loosely knit chainmail banana hammock done in
Oh my
Have
god.
you mentioned this before?
done in Iron Man.
Oh my god.
My only
And he was a very hairy man. And of course, Eric, my husband, is there. I wonder if that pinches. And I'm sitting there going, I wonder how many hairs he's pulled out.
Oh my gosh.
man.
There we go to water country quite often down in Williamsburg.
Oh
And
my
there is
gosh.
almost
Oh my
every time we go, there's this old guy. There's this old guy, and I'm talking, he's got to be at least like 70 years old. Always wears a Speedo. And I'm like, oh my God, everything is
Why?
showing, dude, everything. And he's got his grandkids with him and his kids. And I'm
Oh
going,
my God.
none of these have to tell him no.
He's a pedophile.
And we, oh God, it's terrible. Oh, it's so bad. And we're all like, don't look, just don't look.
But it's like a bad accident. You can't help but
You can't. You just can't. And he is pasty white and black Speedo. It is the worst. It's just like, and wrinkles, and it just, the whole picture is like, and you can't get it out of your head after you've
And
seen
the
it.
Speedos
It's
are
like,
like-
oh God,
and
it's
his
burned
skin's
into the
like
back of my
this.
skull.
Scar him early.
Yes, it's like sagging down over it. Oh gosh, it's so
And the
bad.
Speedo's like,
Oh my goodness.
No.
Oh yeah, it's like
No.
shrink wrapped on there. Yep.
so when I was 18, I was a very naive 18. I got this
Okay.
job in a nursing home. Hadn't really seen too much of men. Like literally, I had one job before that I saw. Wait, no, yeah, one. I saw one before. My dad always kept himself very. And when I dated, I was very innocent. So, needless to say, I
You
did
were a
not
good
know.
girl.
I was a very good girl until I met my husband. And then, so they wanted to play a prank on me. There was this one guy that they're like, okay, you're going to go in and wash him up, pull back the covers, and, just start washing him. So I go in and I pull the covers back. I kid you not, this man was this long
whoa.
and not big around.
Whoa.
Oh my
that would
God.
hurt.
Now, you gotta understand, I'm
Was he a
18.
porn star?
I know nothing. And he's the kindest, gentlest old guy that I've ever met, right? And I'm talking to him. I pull back the cover and I'm like, hold on a second.
Oh my
Poor
God.
man.
I said, what is that? And of course, they're dying.
Oh my God.
This is not a
Oh,
penis,
yeah.
it's a small animal.
I
Oh
was
my God.
mortified. I said I was red for the rest of the
I
night.
want to know what to do. No, I'm with you.
Oh
I
my
wouldn't know
god.
what to
And
do.
his wife must have been real happy.
It was first day on the job. I mean, seriously.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's really great.
Apologies to
honestly-
the wife.
In the 23 years that I've been in nursing, I have not seen one to match that. I have never seen one
Oh wow.
any bigger, and I've seen as many cocks as a 23-year prostitute. I mean, come on.
Do you still have
Oh
nightmares?
my god.
Yeah. If I was his wife, I'd be like, "You're not touching me." Get that thing away from me.
This poor man. He can't do anything with it. He just can't. Oh man.
His wife was a very happy woman. She was in the same room.
Oh yeah.
He passed
Oh,
away
Lord.
not too long afterwards, and she passed away right after him. I'm like, well, it's because of lack of that.
Like I said, she calls one happy woman.
Oh,
Like I'm following that.
Fuck.
they had like 5 kids or something.
Holy crap.
Oh shit.
She's
Remarkable.
taking advantage of right in
Oh
that
my
big
God.
horse.
And he was such a nice guy, but I could not. After that, I couldn't even look the guy in the face. I was just like,
That's great. That's really great.
Oh my god.
I know
luckily,
you have a monster dick.
I still remember I was in college and I went on this, like, it wasn't a field trip. It was actually like this, during a break, we went out to the Pacific Northwest to do like whale watching and bird watching, yada, yada, hiking, that sort of thing. And it was a blast. And we went to like this hot spring thing just to relax and swim a little bit. And the professor, who was like this really straight-laced guy, he's like, okay, so this is technically clothing optional. And he like went and scoped it out first because I went to a Jesuit college, you know.
oh,
College.
that's very conservative.
Well, Jesuits are pretty liberal. I mean, they're very well. They're all about education. That's why I went
No,
there.
I'm talking about clothing.
Oh yeah, the clothing.
Conservative.
Oh, very.
I grew up in a Mennonite community.
There you
and
go.
that even makes it even more
Oh,
funny when you
wow.
think about the experience of
elephant
going in
dick?
the nursing home.
So he like the professor goes and like scopes it out, and he comes back. He's like, okay. He's like, normally people, because he'd been there before. He's like, normally people wear clothes. He's like, but there is an old man, and he is not. He's like, it's up to you guys. I'm not, it's this is optional. We all went, but this poor guy, he's sitting there just in this hot spring chilling. He had the tiniest little baby, wrinkly little thing. I'm like, yeah, pretty much. It's like, oh my god, dude. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, no.
I
this is bad.
I had one
Unfortunate.
guy. I had one guy that he was a turtle.
Oh.
Oh.
His balls were bigger than his. And to actually wash them, you had to push down on the side to get the little guy to like.
Oh, who'd you get to pop out?
He couldn't even really get an erection because he was so tiny.
Oh, poor guy.
Oh my
Like it didn't even hang off of it. It literally was like. Yeah.
Little micro penis.
Oh.
There are people that have micro penises.
Yep.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
How do you masturbate with that?
Having to, like, push. That's what you have to do for dogs and horses.
Yeah, you have to push.
Yeah, because they have a prep piece that covers everything.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes this is the fun, gross stuff that I get to deal with. Sometimes
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
I know this.
Sometimes prep uses in animals that have them get a little gummed up with what's known.
Oh.
And we call it in the field, we call it penis butter or Peter butter.
Dick tease.
It's like this gummy, brown, like creamy
Mm-hmm.
yick that you have to like flush out. And in horses, you actually have to like reach up and like pull it out.
Human men get this when they are not circumcised and don't take care of themselves. And let me tell you.
Oh God! I had
that schmegma build up, and you have to like, go in after it. And the smell. The worst part is the smell. Like it comes out like chunky, and the smell as it sits there, it's like, oh my God!
It malingers. It malingers. It's not even just like you can clean it, the smell goes away. Oh no, it malingers. I mean, it is like like an hour later, you're like,
God help you if you, God help you. It goes through gloves. It gets through the gloves.
It gets through the gloves. It gets through the gown. It gets through everything in your there.
And it's like the smelliest. And it's funny, like in dogs and male dogs, like if you're doing like a big surgery, you always flush out the prepuce to make sure it stays sterile. You know, try to get everything nice and clean. And sometimes, like the surgery place I used to work, the surgery team would do that. And the peanut butter would like come out, and they would let it fall into these dogs are prepped with like a graded table, you know, so that like water would drip down. So there'd be like these chunks of peanut butter sitting in the sink until somebody actually had to go in and manually like scoop it all out.
Oh God!
You won't want to eat like soft cheese for a while after it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna want to eat soft
like peanut butter.
cheese now.
I'm so
now
glad
I
I didn't that much before this, because I'm actually sick to my stomach.
I've got a pretty strong stomach.
Okay. So we'll go on from that. I was in the OR one time. What's that?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was in the OR one time with this one guy. He had erectile dysfunction, and he had a wife that wanted some. So he decided to go through a penile implant.
Oh God!
Do you remember the shoes that used to pump up?
Yes, yes. The Nike Air.
Remember that. Remember that, okay? We're in doing surgery, and this was a teaching doctor, and he wanted me right next to him. So I go in, and we're holding him out, the guy open. They put a reservoir right above the fun pad, and then they put the little pump, the little ball pump from the shoes, in between his balls. Like it was actually in the ball sack. And then we ran 2 bladders down the shaft of the penis. And the guy had to be partially erect for 4 weeks. And every day he'd have to pump it up. And he'd go on me.
Oh my God!
Can you imagine? Hey, we're getting hot and heavy. Let me just squeeze the old nutsack there.
I'm here to pump you up.
I have a flashback to that movie, Pump Up the Volume.
Pump up the jam.
Oh my God!
I can't believe these guys.
When it did go.
Pump your nuts.
Oh my God! One of the best things I've seen.
How do you not hurt yourself?
Oh my God! I think we're all going to be sore after this just from the laughing. But when I was in
sponsored by Reebok.
So I had this 90-year-old guy, and I was married at this point, right? So I was in this nursing. I was working in the hospital, and this guy, I had to take care of him, and I said, okay, it's time to get cleaned up for bed. We'll make sure that you're comfortable, make sure your IVs and everything are okay, but we need to get you washed up. So I come in with a basin and I'm like, okay, well, we did the top half. It's time to do the bottom half. And he looks at me, he goes, sweetie, do all the men drop their drawers for you? I said, yes. And he goes, what does your husband think? I said, honey, I've been doing this for a long time. I've seen everything. And when I mean everything, I mean everything. He just thought it was absolutely mortifying that what he thought was a very young girl, because I was in my 30s at the time, and he thought I was in my teens. And he's like, he was mortified that some young chick's looking at his dick.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's just another dick.
Gosh.
And he wanted to save my poor soul,
Your purity.
my purity.
You're
like,
sorry,
dude, that was gone a long time ago.
You've been doing this for decades. No,
It's been gone for a while.
It sailed. Sorry, no.
That ship sailed many eons ago.
Wow. My God.
I have more.
Continue.
I have a good one. This is fun. It's also kind of on the edge of gross. So you know how
Really?
semen has a smell, right?
Yeah.
Especially if it's been sitting for a while. You know, it kind of gets that kind of stale, nasty, gross smell. I mean, it's, So imagine this. It's like a group of, there's probably about 20 of us doing a run through a pig barn as part of, training.
Oh,
And-
as like sled services and stuff like that.
No, it was like a production house. So there's like boars and sows and all that. And so pigs, when they have an orgasm, when they ejaculate, they do this for 15 to 20 minutes with their corkscrew shaped penis.
Am's
Oh,
like,
wow.
oh.
Oh, God.
Oh,
God.
Could you imagine that?
no, I can't.
15 to 20 minutes. And the penis looks like a corkscrew.
No.
Legitimately looks like a flipping corkscrew. So this.
So do their tails. I mean,
there's a sow in season. Yeah, well, so do the other parts. So this boar's jumped up, front feet are over the edge of the paddock thing, pen thing. Beats me. I don't know. I studied as little farm animal stuff as I could. And there's a sow that's like in season nearby, so he gets a little too excited and he just starts humping air humping. And then he ejaculates.
Oh, wow.
And we're sitting there listening to like a 15, 20-minute lecture, and the entire time the professor's talking, this pig is coming and coming and coming and making all these noises and spurting and spurting and spurting and spurting. And the stench of that is like coming out and hitting the floor and just kind of sitting there. Oh my God.
Oh, my God.
It was disgusting. The smell.
Oh, my
was
gosh.
horrible. Because the sheer volume hitting the floor and then sitting there.
But how? Like how? How?
That's what
How
they
would you have
do.
that much fluid for that long? How?
I'm not sure, but it was impressive. It really was.
you're like,
How big
you
was
could have
the pig?
studied that boar. You could have got a lot of them pregnant.
Oh, he could have impregnated the whole damn state. And he's making all sorts of fun noises, too. It's really hard to hear the lecture because he's squeaking and squealing and making all the noises one expects during this process. And it's hilarious.
One expects.
And we figured out real quick in that group who had never seen a penis before and never versus the ones that, oh my God, some of those girls were like bright red. Some of the guys were like, what the fuck?
I would have been laughing my ass off.
Those girls that were sort of like bright red, purple, like they were like mortified. And it's like, okay, come on now. This is natural, but seriously.
I would have been laughing my ass off. I probably would have peed myself.
I'd have to
We
watch that.
we all were losing it because like
You were watching pig porn.
pretty much, and we were getting graded for it.
Oh my gosh.
No, I just realized I'm wearing pigs on my shirt. Oh, this sucks.
And now you know they have corkscrew penises that can orgasm for 20
No, I
minutes.
can't look at them. They're not cute anymore. No, fuck it. No.
Here you go. No,
Thanks.
get away from me.
Oh,
You know
Like
what?
other
Oh
cats
my
do.
gosh.
Do you know that elephants' penises have a mind of their own? They actually can tell
they're
us.
prehensile.
Yeah, they're prehensile, and they can actually like find the woman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, they need some help.
Pretty high tech for a penis.
Oh wow.
Hell.
Self-directing penis.
Dex also has a corkscrew penis too.
Does it have an eye on the end of it? Like, like an endoscope?
Oh Jesus.
Targeting acquired.
Target acquired.
Oh my god.
And
Oh
sharks have two.
And actually,
Sharks have two dicks. They're called dorks. You'll never call somebody a dork again.
I want to now.
Oh yeah. Well, heck yeah.
You're such a dork.
I'm gonna look at every single person I know. You're a dork. You're a dork. You're a dork. You have no idea what I'm saying.
here's a kind of ouchy animal fact. Male cats
Have
that are
barbs.
unneutered. Yes, they do. They have barbs on their penises. Now, if they're neutered, the barbs go away. But they have them, and they go in smooth, like
Ow.
but out. They scrape in the walls of the vagina to
That's why
induce
they
ovulation.
scream.
Mhm.
Why?
Yeah, that's why female cats scream during mating because it hurts. Because that female cats don't, because they're solitary generally, they only ovulate when properly stimulated. They don't waste their energy ovulating when there's no males around, so they have to be stimulated. So they have like these these penis barbs that like literally like on the way out or during the
Oh my god! So glad humans don't have that. Oh, that's so.
Oh,
God.
we would have gone extinct if we had that. If men had that, can you imagine?
Well, I could tell you a bunch of things that are found in human orifices that should not be there.
Oh my god! Yeah, I've heard so many.
Like
stories.
what?
Oh my god!
Well, I heard of one guy that he said he was walking around the house naked.
Fell on a light bulb?
And he fell on a water bottle, a big one, and it was full.
Oh God. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, those areas create suction. So once you start it in, it just keeps wanting to go in and then go
up and away.
And they have to come in and get it taken out. Well, they have to go through surgery because half the time because the suction's too great.
Can't just massage it out.
No.
Yep, can't poop it out, can't massage it out.
Oh my God.
Nope, you gotta go in there.
It's okay.
It won't work.
I have aunts that are RN, so I grew up on the stories, which is why props to nurses, but I couldn't do it.
The light bulbs,
animals.
cucumbers for women.
Oh yeah, cucumbers, potatoes.
Break off.
But my favorite one is the garter snake.
Oh, I remember you telling us that one.
Like an actual snake?
My aunt told me this story. And I remember this. This is one of two stories that I have that I remember. So this man was pleasuring himself with a garter snake up and down, like he had it in his urethra and he's like dragging it in, pushing it out, up and down his urethra. Apparently this causes pleasure for some
sounding.
people.
It's called sounding, in case you're curious.
Yeah,
No.
friend of mine who's into it actually says he has like a kit with different like shapes and size metal sticks for it. But I was doing
remind me to tell you one on that one.
So this guy was doing a DIY version of that, and he lost his grip on the snake. It kept going head first.
Oh Jesus.
Oh my God.
He had to take it out of his bladder. This thing died. He drowned.
Well, yeah, it would go.
Dog in a hot dog.
There's just certain things that are just not meant to go places. Holy crap!
Yes.
It's like turtles on the poop chute.
Imagine if you tried to do that.
That's
If you-
terrible.
Imagine if you tried to do that. Okay, granted, you don't have like a member to direct things into, but imagine if you tried to do that. Oh God, no.
Women do have urethra. That's how you pee.
No, I know that you do.
It's a lot harder to hit,
Oh my God.
and if you've had babies, it's not in the right place.
Oh my God.
So,
I remember I had to get catheterized once for a urine sample. I almost kicked the bitch in the face. It hurt so damn bad.
that's why when you get surgery, they put it in after you're asleep. So
Oh no.
I can't tell you where I was or how I did know this, but I know of a person that came into an ER. I can't even tell you where in the country. I'm bound.
HIPAA rules. Hey, we understand.
So this person had to go to the ER to have toothpicks removed from his urethra because they had snapped off.
You said toothpicks, as in multiple toothpicks?
Yeah.
Was he trying to fish the first one out? Why? I love how like this is awesome. You can tell who the medical people are because you and I are laughing, and everyone else is like,
No.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh, oh, fucking A.
"Oh my
Nope,
god!"
nope, nope.
Okay. I had this other guy that he's walking around and like he's got quite a package. I'm sitting there going, something isn't right.
Uh-oh.
Something just doesn't look right. So I go in and I have to take care of this guy. And he's laying down and he's not too, they're not too shy. Guys just aren't. So he's laying there. I realize why. He had a penile implant. He had doubled his size lengthwise. They had inserted a hard prosthetic in the end of his penis.
Mhm.
And
Oh my god.
he had a Woody at all times.
Oh my god!
Oh,
That just sounds uncomfortable.
Well, he
always ready to go.
Yeah, no.
Oh, there you go.
You
Oh,
want to
my
I guess it was before the type. Well, they do penile implants for people who don't feel that they have enough. Well, evidently this gentleman didn't feel like he had enough, and he doubled his size, and he had a perpetual Woody.
Hey, at least
Oh
I could
my
tell you
God.
the
Oh my
direction to go in. He always knew where north was.
You know,
I'm like,
God.
how do I fit this in your
Poor
pants?
Am's is like, I'm getting off. I can't do this. No, my poor innocent mod can't handle this.
Now, the
I
funny thing
was-
is, dogs can actually get. Well, all mammals can get that it's paraphimosis, like a long-term
Paraphimosis.
erection that shouldn't be there for
4
Well,
hours. If
Yeah.
you have an erection for longer than 4 hours, that's what you're
contact
talking
your
about.
doctor.
Contact your
Well,
It does happen, and men
It does.
do not seek help right away. And I will
And then
tell
they have
you
to get the
that they will
blood
die and
sucked out.
fall off if they don't get help soon.
yeah, it will die. It will fall off. And in dogs, unfortunately, if it happens, dogs have this thing on the base of their penis called the bulbourethral glands. Ugh. Two little
Let me
lumps
feel.
that. Yep. So when it pops out and it stays out too long, those glands come out. They get engorged, and they get whole mess gets stuck outside the prepuce. And then you have to
Of course,
kind of shove it back in.
I don't know if I want to do that. I don't.
It's actually what you have to do with human males that are uncircumcised. you have to do the same thing. If the foreskin's not pulled back, it can actually become really swollen, and they got a really big swollen bubble, and you just have to whoop back up over the.
Oh.
Oh God.
I bet men
You
react
gotta
about as
fix
well
the
as dogs
turtleneck.
do. Every dog that have ever fixed that on has screamed bloody murder.
If I have a son, I think I'm going to have him
I do too.
circumcised. I think you just made the argument for me. Thank you.
I am a big proponent on circumcision. I'm just gonna say it because everybody's like, "Oh, it should be up to the man."
I'm glad I did it.
He
Yeah.
would not thank you later if he had to have it removed, because a large portion of men actually have to have it removed on down the line, because either it gets a split in it. It's like somebody takes a rubber band and puts it on the end of the penis, and they can't pull the foreskin back, and it can actually get rips and fissures and stuff like that in it, and it's very painful, so it has to come off. So then they get circumcised at 20, 30, 40, 90, and then they're
God.
in pain for months. As a baby, a couple hours and they're fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
When
Right,
we had
yeah,
our son,
Definitely.
I basically said to Nick, I was like, "Do you want him circumcised?" I did not care. I figured leave it up to, I was kind of leaning towards circumcision, but I ultimately was just going to leave the decision up to Nick. And he's like, "I want him circumcised." I was like, "Okay, cool." We got him circumcised. I swear to God, he cried for like 2 minutes and he was fine. Totally
You can-
cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't even need
No
pain
problem.
medication, because they give
Yeah.
them sugar water, and it literally in their little bodies that acts like a painkiller, and they're fine.
Mhm.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah, it's not the big deal that everybody thinks it is. I've actually helped with them. They're not bad.
It is, however, very, very unnerving to a new mother who she sends her son out to go get him circumcised. He comes back, he is a day old, and they don't tell you what the hell to expect. You take the diaper off to change the diaper, and there's a pad of bloody gauze on top of this guy's little wee-wee, and you're like, what the fuck? You're like frantically hitting the nerve button. What the hell is wrong with my kid? What did you do to him? Yeah, I freaked the hell out. I was like,
Aw.
what on earth? She goes, it's fine.
How old is he? How old is he?
Oh, he's 24 now. Yeah,
That's
he's
because
24
back
now.
then they just did them. They didn't even give you the
choice.
option.
Yeah.
The other thing is if men are not circumcised, they're a much greater risk for cancer of the foreskin and penis. Plus, it's a lot harder to clean, and as they age, like I said, that skin starts to grow tight, and it actually can become very painful to pee, to move, to have sex, everything.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
When I hear circumcising, all I think about is the one scene from Robin Hood Men in
I
Tights.
knew you were going to say that.
Yes.
The women love it.
Now I'm loving the fact that in the chat we have a lot of people that are like, "Oh my," they're kind of like, "Ah."
I haven't even been paying attention to that. I got to go back and read it.
I'm keeping like half an eye on it, and it's hilarious. And the nice thing is, Nick's in there, and he's like, having to hear this story right before dinner. Oh my God, I'm like, dude, you live with me. You hear these stories all the time.
But I'm glad I
hear these stories right before we go to bed.
Yeah, no, it's. I'm used to this. We go to my mother-in-law's house. I get in trouble all the time for talking about stuff I shouldn't talk about at the dinner table. I'm like, I don't know the difference. I grew up. I grew up in a farming Mennonite community. There were no boundaries. You talked about everything. Oh, what'd you do today? Oh, I just butcher a cow.
Horses,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up in a family of nurses. Like every time we'd go over to my grandparents' house for dinner. Now, my grandmother was a retired bookkeeper. My grandfather had been in construction, but all three of their daughters were nurses. So around the dinner table, it's all these stories. I grew up listening to these stories. So unfortunately,
exactly like what we're doing here is what you hear at the dinner table.
Yeah. Oh, have I ever told you guys the Ben Gay story?
No.
No.
Oh.
This is
This
a
has
good
to
one.
be good.
Oh my god! So again, this is courtesy of my aunt, one of my aunts growing up. They all, she had to do. None of my aunts ended up in ER med or anything like that. They end up infection control and floor nurse, like a med surg unit. But they all had to do their ER rotations, and
We do. Yeah, you do.
Just like for us, we had to rotate through farm crap, even if we were never going to touch a horse or a cow again. But
and I'm getting ready to start back in the ER here in like 2 weeks.
Oh, God bless you, girl.
Oh, geez.
Stay safe. But
yeah.
So my aunts did their rotations in Philadelphia, in like inner city hospitals, and this couple comes rolling in, screaming, like they run in screaming. Woman's hysterical. She's screaming. The man is hollering his head off. And they're like, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? They're thinking they got stabbed. They got shot. They got, what happened? So apparently the guy was impatient and think about, maybe using some fucking foreplay. And they didn't have any lube in the house.
No.
So they grabbed the nearest slippery substance that they had, which was a big old tube of Bengay. It was all up his urethra. It was all up in his urethra. It was all up in her. And they're both screaming their full heads off.
Oh my god. Oh, holy shit.
That reminds me of a story I read where this woman had been chopping up hot peppers and decided to get frisky with her boyfriend. He was
no.
It burns, it really burns, it burns. Didn't wash her
That's why you
hands
wash your hands.
all the oil and decided to get.
Capsaicin's not fun, man. Capsaicin's not fun.
No, it's really not.
And when you mess with peppers, just washing your hands is not good enough. You really have to do lemon juice on them and shit to get all that pepper juice off.
Yeah.
When I was in biology class in 10th grade, I was cutting up peppers for microscope slides, and I got the juice underneath of one of my fingernails, just a little bit, and I had contacts in at the time, and I went like this after I scrubbed my hands and everything onto my contact, into my, I thought I was gonna die. I had to go down to the nurse's office, and they're like, she takes my contact out, and my eye was just fire. It was on fire for the whole rest of the day. I thought I was gonna die. Oh my gosh. I can't imagine. I can't imagine touching. Nope. Nope. Oh my gosh. Oh Lord.
So you like the spicy tuna
I went
roll,
into
right?
Yeah, exactly. I was in an emergency room one time. I was getting stitches in my face. That's a long story for another time. But yeah. But so no, I was 15 when this happened. So. But in the bed next to me is this guy who is screaming bloody murder. Well, his partner was there with him, and his partner was like, "You need to shut the fuck up. You're the moron who stuck it in there." And I'm like, "What the fuck did he stick in where?" Well, my mom being the nosy person that she was, which is phenomenal, she found out that this guy had a fish hook in his penis. He had decided to stick a fish hook in. Yeah.
Ow.
I was like, what the fuck?
We just got that bored, huh?
How
there are guys that actually get the head and body of their penis actually
pierced.
Yeah, Prince Albert. Yeah.
Or Jacob's ladder. Yeah. Right up the shaft on the bottom. Oh. How do you maintain that? How do you keep that clean? How?
Not easily. I can't imagine. I think the rate of infection's got to be ridiculous.
And as the woman having sex with him, how do you?
Apparently, someone love it.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if one of them fell off and then you have to go find it? Can you imagine if one of them fell off during and you had to
oh
go
my god!
for it?
What if they actually swallow one? Oh my god!
Oh.
Not okay. Not okay.
Nick
Yeah,
was
no.
gonna get a letter.
He was.
Yeah,
Right?
I know
He
him.
was thinking about it right when we got together.
That's so
And
much
he-
work.
And,
Oh
and he
my
was like, should I do it? And I was like, no, please don't. Please
No.
don't.
You're like, because
And
I
he
know.
didn't. Thank
how-
God.
So I had another guy the one day. I wasn't paying attention to the tattoos the guy had on his body. I was just trying to take care of him. So I had one of the aides come out to me, and she's like, did you take a look at this guy's body? Like, no more than I would just look at it for what I needed to. She goes, did you notice his dragon? And of course, at this point, I'm like, wait, what?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
He's like, he's got a dragon tattooed on his dick.
Oh.
That's creative.
Wow.
That's commitment. I mean, tattoos hurt.
Oh, it's more commitment than what you realize. So I go into this guy. I'm like, he's completely cool with it. He's like this biker dude type guy. So I walk into him. I'm like, I hear you have some interesting tattoos that I need to look at. And he goes, sure. And he just rips his gown off, and he's standing there in the nude.
Hello.
And I look down, and he literally has a full dragon the whole length. And I mean, he was really well endowed. He said it took 8 hours just to do some of the outlining.
And
Oh my
Hang on.
God.
wouldn't you have to stay erect all that time?
Yeah.
He had to stay erect the whole time.
Wow.
Wow,
must
hang
have
on.
liked
I want to
pain.
hear that story. I want to hear that
Wait,
story. How did
it was
how did you
massive,
do
right?
that?
It was beautiful with blue and green and scaled. I mean, it was actually a very good job. It was very great art.
Also, I want to
And
find
then-
the tattoo artist that would do that.
Yeah. Well, whoever did it was very good. But then he's like, oh, did you see my butthole? I'm like,
What?
Oh, good Lord. What did he have
turns
there?
over, and he's got a demon sticking his finger in the butthole.
He has no shame. He has no shame.
That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome.
He had beautiful tattoos. Whoever his tattoo artist is very, very good.
Oh my
But
And brave.
I couldn't get past those two. I don't even remember what
Diddle,
the other
diddle,
two
diddle,
were.
diddle.
The other ones were. We had them all over. But I'll tell you what, that dragon was pretty. That was pretty interesting.
I'm
Oh my.
curious.
He must have really liked
He-
pain.
he
I mean, to
becomes
stay
like-
erect during that process.
He also had a Prince Albert.
Oh. Yeah, he liked pain. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Not to mention the nipple piercings, the other piercings, and everywhere else.
I can imagine. Guy has his dick tattooed. Sky's the limit.
Oh my
It
God.
was very well done, though. I have to say,
I have to say the butthole tattoo is probably my favorite.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
You see my butthole?
That's awesome.
Tickle the butthole.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
like I said, I have seen just about everything.
Oh, I love it. This is
believe
hilarious.
I believe you.
Oh.
Catheterized some of those guys that are not exactly easy either.
Oh my
Especially the
God.
old
Don't
guys.
even get me. Oh,
Oh
I have
yeah,
some good catheter stories too. Oh my God.
we're trying to
Yeah,
catheterize this one guy, and they kept going in, and I'm like,
How the hell?
it's not that long. Where's this going? And we realized it went down into his balls, and like it was almost.
It like
I
turned
don't-
like coiled on itself.
Yeah, it went down into his. Oh my gosh, I don't know how it did it, but we actually had trouble getting it to the bladder. We had to call the urologist. He had something going on in there.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Yeah.
weird.
Oh wow.
And then the urologist is tells the guy, he goes, you need to hold on to the edge of the bed on both sides. Why? Hold on to the edge of the bed.
It's gonna hurt.
You nurses, I want you on those side. He takes a syringe that's this big, full of jelly, sticks it in the end of this guy's penis, smacks the plunger, pushes that through, and then he jams this. It's a rigid catheter. He jams that in, and I kid you not, I got green.
Oh my God.
Did he pass out?
I could feel that.
Did he pass out? Did he pass out from the pain? Oh my God.
Almost.
I think I would. Oh my God.
I had trouble
Oh my dear
paying
Lord.
attention to him passing out because I was almost hitting the floor.
Oh my
Strong
God.
stomach, and this was just.
That was near your limit. Yeah. Oh,
No,
Oh
you want to
my
know what gets me to my
gosh.
You know what takes me past my limit is trach balls when they're throwing out of their trach. That'll do me in. I will be in the bathroom throwing up. I'll be on the floor throwing up. I can't handle that.
But from your trachea, is that you're saying?
Yeah,
Wow.
when they have a
Yeah,
trick put in.
When they have one of those things,
You know, like
The-
smokers sometimes.
whole-
Stoma.
Oh, okay. Oh,
they
okay.
have the hole and they get a cold.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. No, okay, I get it. All right, yeah,
Not
all right. I got it. I got it. Okay, yeah. Oh no, I'm with you on that one. Yeah, I think I was just.
God.
Oh, trust me,
Gross.
I have a
And
student
yours just got to
with-
get in there and section it, and it goes.
This has given me a very strong stomach with some of my students that I have. And we have a kid with a trach that her nurse has to suck out. We have another kid where the nurse has to take the sucker into the mouth and the throat because she can aspirate.
Yeah.
We have a few students with the
Do they throw those spitballs?
no, she's got a breather on her trach.
Hmm.
We have a few G tubes. Those are always
Too
fun.
bad.
But when you try to have to feed one of those, we had a student once where we had to feed them through the G tube. We had to put the thing in and then push the food through. Yeah, that was kind of fun. And if he moved and it wasn't right,
Burp back up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got covered in
Oh,
lots
God.
of formula that way. I literally would come home. I would literally come home from work and be like, "Do not touch me. Do not touch me."
That's
Light it up.
nothing.
Oh, I know, but I mean, between
It's really
that,
great when they sneeze and it just comes shooting back out.
that
Mm-hmm. I'm just like, I am not a medical person. So
No,
not a medical
I don't
person.
think I remember
this
that
is
conversation. No.
education I'm
Oh,
dealing
this is mild. I've been this far up into somebody's groin, and it wasn't their vajayjay.
You know,
Oh my gosh.
What's real interesting is cats. Kind of going back to male cats. Unfortunately, Mother Nature was not very nice to cats in general. First of all, the girls have to get scraped to get pregnant, and the boys have very narrow urethras.
And they get urinary
course.
tract infections a lot.
Yeah, they get urinary tract infections, and they get this thing called feline lower urinary tract disease, which basically means their tiny little coffee stirrer urethra slams shut either because of inflammation or stones or grit, crystals, all sorts of random shit. So these poor
Anxiety.
cats, yeah, anything, and it slams shut. And so to fix that, you take a rigid plastic catheter, you knock them out first, and then you try.
We
first
don't
you
do
have
that to men. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, my patients, unfortunately, they're a little bit more prone to biting and scratching.
And these
I've got
men aren't.
Yeah, but you can give them. You can do
I've been
4-point
hit in
restraints.
the head.
You can do 4-point restraints and hit them with some Haldol. My patients, they,
We're not allowed to use restraints. They don't even have them in there anymore.
oh, that sucks. But
No.
humans have a little bit more self-control. A cat doesn't understand why it hurts or what you're trying to do is trying to help them, so they're more reactive. And my patients have really sharp teeth. So
So do
unfortunately,
mine. I've been bitten.
Yeah, I mean, human bites are no joke, but cat bites, oh no, thank you. I got knocked out of work for a week once because a cat bit me in the hand and embedded her teeth in the bones of my metacarpals.
I have those too from my cat.
Yeah.
So,
geez.
So male cats, you have to catheterize them and put an indwelling urinary catheter in to keep it open until everything kind of settles down. So you have to knock them out, and you have to thread this wet noodle, basically this tiny little penis, after you get it out of this tiny little prepuce, with a wet needle, this little thing, and you jam it in there, and half the time you have to like drill through the concrete grit that's like blocking the way, like flushing it, like hydropulsing, like back and forth. You have to like take it and go, and you have to like drill through until you finally get it to.
The cat awake.
No, it's not.
they're out.
Oh my god.
That's why we knocked them out.
Humans are not when we do this most of the time.
Oh, no.
And they get the same thing. They get the same thing. It's like cement.
Yeah, and you have to drill through it with this rigid catheter. And finally you get through and you get up to pee and hope to God you're aiming right and the pressure goes the other way. Otherwise you're drenched in stinky pee.
In it.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, and cat pee stinks.
Yep.
Oh,
And the worst part is, after you drain the bladder, flush the bladder, drain the bladder, flush the bladder, get all this crap out, you have to take out the real rigid one, which literally is a coffee stirrer with with an edge to put a syringe on, and then you have to put a little bit softer one in,
like a wet noodle.
Yep. Oh my God, it's such a pain in the ass.
Now,
really
are cats that are neutered, do they not have that issue? Or is it?
Oh no, it's actually mostly neutered cats. I've only met one blocked tomcat that hadn't been neutered, because most people can't abide the smell of an unneutered male. So most cats are neutered that are pet cats.
Yeah.
Most people aren't going to keep an intact male in their house because of the stench.
Oh yeah.
But if they miss part of that scent gland, which they did on my first cat. Oh.
That's weird, because usually after you take the testicles off, it doesn't smell as bad.
He would spray.
Oh.
Yeah, see, we've had male cats.
He would spray, and he was neutered.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes
they must have got something.
Yeah, they're sometimes, unfortunately, they can still. I mean, they're still going to spray. That's behavioral, not so much hormonal.
Oh no, this is like paste. Stinky.
Oh, that's weird. Then they must have left some testicular tissue behind on him.
Because I was gonna say,
I don't know how.
It cleared our house the one time. He sprayed, and we were all on the floor puking, and we had to roll ourselves out. What? We
was
actually.
It pee, or was it his anal glands?
No, it wasn't anal gland. This was pee. Ish.
Oh God.
Ish.
Yeah.
My sister actually had
bad.
My sister had a female my sister had a female cat that she would have to take to the vet and get her anal glands cleaned out because they would get inflamed.
Yeah,
my mother-in-law's cat has that issue.
Yeah, that's one of the not so fun parts of my job, is dealing with that.
And the vet
smells interesting.
The vet was even like showed my sister how to do it, and my sister was like, "No." She's like, "I could probably do it, but I'm not going to put my cat through that and have her hate me for the rest of my life. I'd rather her hate you."
Plus, if you don't do it right, if you don't aim it right,
it's going to go all over you.
Yep, I knew a guy once, and he was a little full of himself, so I kind of was laughing up my sleeve after it happened, because So this was, dogs and cats both have anal glands, and there's these little scent glands at 4 and 8 o'clock if you look at a dog or cat's anus, which, why would you, but that's where they are.
Well, when I'm walking my dog, it's sometimes I'm watching to make sure, is he going to poop? Because I know when I have an idea usually when he's going to poop on our walks, because they
start turtling a little bit. It starts like puckering.
He starts puckering. Yep.
They do. They pucker. They go.
Yep. Yeah, we call it turtling. It's like, but
I call it
the little like winky thing. So what they are actually meant for is scent marking for like territory and for lubricating pooping. That's why they exist. That's why the reasons that these glands exist. But sometimes they do get clogged up. So in dogs, the best way to express them is you stick your finger in and you squeeze on the side, and you have something in your hand to catch it. And it can either come out as a fine liquid, or it comes out as like a chunky mix of like liquid solid.
Arms, are you okay? Breathe.
No, I'm not.
Breathe.
Oh, honey, breathe, sweetie.
Don't pass out
or
on
it comes
us.
out as like this stinky toothpaste
Shit.
consistency.
You can't throw up if you're smiling like this.
Exactly.
It's impossible. It is physically impossible for you to throw up if you're smiling like that.
I learned that, and that helped get me through some stinky stuff in school because it was like,
Yep.
I thought I had a strong stomach. You guys
this
blew
is
out of the
nothing.
water. Fuck
Oh,
that.
this is mild stuff.
Oh, this ain't nothing.
Anyway,
Nothing.
the rule of thumb with anal glands is you do not talk while you're expressing an anal gland.
Oh God.
Are you okay? Did you come out your nose?
Justin, help! And this is like protein, so it's not even like I would not have felt.
So this guy
So
knew.
talk or drink. There you go.
Oh, he always wore a dress shirt and tie to work because he was a little pretentious, and he's expressing, and he's talking because he couldn't not talk, and he lost his grip on he lost control of the situation. Instead of catching it, this basically spray like this mist of dead fish smelling liquid went from top of his head down the middle into his mouth, into his beard, down his tie.
Oh.
So it's in his hair, it's in his nose, it's in his mouth, and it's in his facial hair.
Why wasn't he wearing a gown?
Oh my God.
On my head at that point, I would bleach myself.
He was scrubbing his head in the sink, and he threw the tie away. It was actually a nice tie, but it went in the way of the trash. Usually, honestly, we only wear like gowns, like protective gowns in the OR or in isolation, like with infectious disease.
I learned as a nurse.
Expressing anal glands usually.
If it's going to spray or it's going to stink like that, wear a gown.
I know a lot that will wear scrubs. I know a lot of vets that just wear scrubs.
Honestly, that's what 99% of veterinarians wear is scrubs. Like this guy was an outlier being pretentious wearing dress clothes. The tie and the lab coat, all that. Plus the place I worked, they kind of wanted us all to wear lab coats and nice clothes, which sucked because by the end of the day, your clothes were a mess. But anal glands are small. I mean, they're only usually, when they're inflamed and huge, they're only still about the size of maybe a walnut. So usually it's not too bad, but he just got nailed. Like, seriously, like top of his head, all the way down to his belly button. Just smell. Oh, and the worst part is it got in his beard, and it's oily.
And it won't come out, and
it doesn't go away.
Thick. The smell sticks.
It
sticks.
It sticks.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Are you okay? Are you gonna be okay?
Damn,
Don't mind me.
honey.
Oh.
Don't mind me.
God.
Haven't eaten much.
Just breathe.
Water. Fine.
So
I probably should pull the story out about the dog who chewed his own penis off then, huh?
Oh my God.
That's up to you. I might black out at that
Oh,
point.
God.
I think we should bring that one down a little bit. Okay, I'm trying to think of another funny story. Oh, well, for a female, I was trying to catheterize her, and she was demented, and then we were in the ER, and I didn't have many people to hold her, so I catheterize her, and next thing I know, I'm seeing stars,
Oh no.
and I'm looking around going, stars. And then I realized this woman has kicked me full force in the face.
Oh God!
Oh
Okay.
my god.
Oh my gosh, yes. She hauled off and kicked my head.
Oh my God! She must have like thought you were assaulting her or something. Like just reacted.
Well, she had urinary retention. She was like a cat.
Ouch.
Yeah, so she was lashing out the only way she knew how.
Mm.
Oh my gosh.
And the next thing you have to do, they look at you, suck it up, buttercup.
Yep.
Go
Get back to
again.
work. Yep.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Ams, are you sure you're okay?
Oh gosh.
I don't think it matters at this point. I'm fine. I'm not gonna hurl. It's fine. I'm just.
See, I think because I've worked with kids, I mean,
That's
from
good.
little to big, I'm just like, okay. If it's stinky or whatever, dealt with it, done with it.
Yep.
I should have
Comes out up top, comes out from the bottom. I've dealt with it all.
Like, I'm squeamish around needles. Like, I get lightheaded when I see needles enter the skin. I should have seen this coming. I should have. Anything medical? Yeah, no, I don't think that's.
We could put you in a catatonic state.
I have a cute story. It's penis related, but it's actually kind of cute.
God.
So I was, this happened in an ER setting.
A cute penis?
No, it was a cute dog.
Penis
It was
walked into a bar.
Pug. But it's a cute story. It is. Now the penis itself not so cute. Because, come on, penises are kind of
ugly.
much to look at. They really aren't. Either they're either like blah blah, or they're like that. Come on, they're not
There
exactly.
are some that are pretty
not exactly to look
impressive.
at.
I mean,
Anyway, so this dog,
as far as the human male, they can be decent. They're not ugly.
yeah, I mean, depends who it's attached
Put some
to.
googly eyes on them, and they might be.
All depends on who it's attached. What it's attached, the person it's attached to. But for dogs, I mean, honestly, theirs looks like a weird little lipstick. But this dog comes in, and the owner's complaint was he was peeing sparkles.
How was he peeing sparkles?
And that we were all scratching our heads. We're like, the complaint is what? He's peeing sparkles? Excuse me, what? He's peeing sparkles. Okay, because it's at night, and so apparently they took the dog out. Dog peed, and it glittered, and so they brought the dog in, and the dog peed, and he peed on one of the techs I was working with, and it sparkled. Like she was holding him like kind of like up like that. He peed on her, and like from boobs to ankles, she was glittering, like one of those vampires from that shitty movie series.
Twilight.
Was it?
Oh my God!
Was it crystals? Like urine crystals?
He had crystals. He had urinary crystals and bladder stones. We ended up having to take him to surgery that night to like do a cystotomy and a urethrostomy to get everything out. The poor guy was loaded, but he peed glitter. He was peeing glitter. It was the funniest thing. Like he would pee, and it's a miracle he wasn't obstructed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But he literally, when this dog peed, it glittered. Like it glittered.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. It was
fabulous.
He was fabulous, exactly. It was kind of cute.
Like,
I have to fix him to make him feel better, but
seriously. I have trouble with dogs because dogs can be rather gross creatures.
Yes, they can.
Yeah, after what I've heard, yes.
Less so than humans, though. I'm sorry. I would rather deal with animals than humans.
I've seen a dog licking his own dick to get himself off.
Please.
No, my dog does that. My dog does that. It's disgusting.
And you think human men would if they were flexible enough? Come on now. Come on.
Hey, I see Magnus getting a red rock, and I'm like,
they most definitely would. They would suck their own dicks if they could.
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh, so true. Men, if they could get down there, they would be at it.
Wasn't there actually a guy who could, like a porn star that actually
could? They could actually.
He was flexible enough that he could actually suck his own dick.
That's impressive.
Like, I get that it happens, kind of weird. But it's the sound.
This is exactly what men would do. If good, this is what they would do. They would play it like a fucking flute. We all know it. We all love it.
The added
That's what they
scene
would do.
really adds a nice
That is
touch to
awesome.
it.
That is awesome.
Oh my god.
Trying to think of some more
Exactly.
nursing ones.
Too. Oh,
Trying to think of some more nursing ones, like some of the other stuff. Well, I had one guy pee down my leg. He was trying to get out of bed, and I stopped him. And he wasn't. He's like, he looked at the one lady that came in with me, and he looked at her and goes, "Get out of here, heifer!" And I'm like, "Oh, what'd you do to him?" About that time, he whips it out and pisses down my leg. I'm like, "Oh, you damn
Child?
oh god.
no!" And he's not the first one.
Oh my
I've had so many people. My poor. There's a reason to wear Crocs. It's that they're easy to wash out, because if you're wearing sneakers, forget it. They become waterlogged, and you got to stay in them.
Okay.
Change them.
No.
See, that's why, like, I like animals better because I don't have to worry. Like, dog pee gets on my hands, cat pee gets on my hands. I wash my hands. I don't have to worry about catching shit from from animals. You know, the only thing we have to worry about really is rabies and some parasites. No big deal.
Right.
You know, there's way too many icky things that humans can give to people. Like, oh, no, thank you. Ugh.
Well, and he was in isolation.
Yeah.
Oh, for what?
Oh god.
You remember what? For what?
For whipping it out and peeing on people, probably.
He had 2 different superbugs.
Oh, God, do you have C. diff?
Oh god.
Oh,
And
C.
Mercury?
diff
better.
and VRE.
Oh,
Even better.
Oh.
Even better.
Yeah, I got
So
one of
of
them right.
course, then I had to go downstairs to the maternity, take a shower, and get new scrubs because you can't go home. But that didn't help my
Yeah.
shoes.
Oh,
Of
God.
course, shoes were soaked. I was walking down the hallway going, that shoe thing.
Oh.
They're like, "Why are you squeaking?" I'm like, "Shut up."
You don't want to know what my feet have been involved
Long day. Long day.
with.
You name it, that bodily fluid has been on me at some point in my nursing field.
Oh
Yep.
god.
Animal feels the same way. I just thankfully don't have to worry about, like I said, I don't worry about the diseases. So.
Oh, and they throw it. They throw stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's gross. That's just gross.
Appreciate you guys. That's something I could never do. Thank you. Thank you. My God, that's just insane. Absolutely insane.
Okay, so Master Skinny Toy says that his mom has a crazy ER story that involved a married couple and a giant cucumber.
I can only imagine where that cucumber lives.
My
Oh
brain
my God, I
went
can think of
into
a couple
7 different
different
directions
ways.
on that one.
$10
Yeah.
cucumbers in the guy's ass.
And in the woman's vajayjay.
God.
Or up the woman's ass.
Or both.
Or both.
Or
Or
both.
both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One,
There
two,
you
Oh,
three.
my
go.
God. It isn't. And some women have this thing. I forget what it's called. I saw it on that Sex Sent Me to the ER show. Where, like, where that vaginal muscles, like, clamp down and lock up and won't let go.
Oh
And I
yeah.
don't
Oh,
know
wow. Like,
Yeah,
like
like-
lockjaw of the pussy?
Yes.
And the guy
Yeah.
stuck.
Wow.
Was
I
it a
don't remember what
gardening
it's called,
ass
though.
to that?
That was. Hi, Jason.
Oh my god.
So I've actually
Yeah, because
heard
that
it
was
where
that was the hoe right there.
I've actually heard it where people are using female and male condoms and using lubricant and stuff like that, and it gets dry in there, and then they get stuck together.
Oh,
Then they
Oh
can't get out.
god.
Penny's
Well, that's
finger
not
trap.
They literally get locked.
Oh my God.
How do you get yourself to the ER at that point?
You call for the squad.
911.
You call
You just
911.
call? Oh
And you
my
get-
God.
Oh, I
There's
guarantee
like crab
you.
walk or something?
Oh no,
No.
you don't even walk. They place you on the gurney, and of course you have to stay in the position you're in.
And you get to ride to the
Oh my
hospital.
God.
Ride the hospital, and then you get to do the rite of shame into the room.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
So you have to like throw
And
blood
then
yourself,
this.
or are you still
Every person that comes in that room, it is their job to ask you what's going on, because you have to. Every person is required to ask you what's going on.
Oh no. So you have to repeat
Retell
the
that
story time and
story.
time again.
Oh no. God,
Oh my god.
That's gotta suck.
There is a reason why they ask.
Starts
you,
out with
well, the wife and I were kind of trying.
Oh, I can imagine.
Oh shit.
If you guys ever get the chance, that
And then she just
ER
snap
show is
goes.
hilarious. They actually managed to get the people involved to sit there and talk about it on
Oh
camera.
shit.
And then they have like reenactments.
Oh god.
Yeah, it's funny.
hilarious.
Oh my
It's
gosh,
funny.
sex.
Oh,
sex
they better be
sent me to the
paying them
ER.
well.
Sex sent me to the ER. I think it's on Hulu. It
Oh,
is
I
the
have Hulu.
funniest
I have to look that up.
God.
It is
That sounds fun.
hilarious.
Why?
There was a guy that got bit by a spider in Australia, and you know all the spiders in Australia are not good spiders.
Massive.
He got bit
Everything
a
in
delicate
Australia is
place.
dangerous. I mean, even their plant life will kill you. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Well, this guy got bit in a very delicate place by a not so good spider. So that
Oh
wasn't like
my
sex.
God.
It was actually like, it was more sex part related, but yeah, like there's like sex accidents and all sorts of things, and that's how I learned about that lockjaw thing. I was like, that happens. That can.
Do you know that men can actually break their penises?
Yes, and
Yeah.
that is the.
I've heard of that.
And then they have to don't they have to take a big 16 gauge needle and drain the blood out?
Yes. And then they
Oh
have to
my
go back in and fix the soft tissue.
Yep.
Yeah, and put it all back together.
Yep.
But yeah, you can actually break it like a car.
Oh
Yeah,
my
those
God.
stories I
I
definitely
like
heard.
chopping a cucumber in half, except for the skin
Oh.
stays on.
So
I
what's
actually
breaks?
have heard of men putting their penises into containers that have razor blades in them.
Oh no.
Oh, why?
Why?
That place
Torture.
elaborate.
Huh?
It's one of those torture things that they're all about S&M.
God, that's insane.
So the story Kate told us about, the guy who got bit by the spider.
Like one of those fucking devices.
It reminded me of the movie We Are the Millers. You guys ever seen that movie where the kid gets the one kid gets bit in the nuts by the spider and it swells up? Oh, it's
I will tell you,
my
I have
God.
seen balls that are this big.
Oof.
My God.
Oh Jesus.
Oh.
Elephants of the
You mean
nuts.
natural balls or
Natural balls.
woo, big old balls.
For Madison,
I actually had one cancer patient that he was very young. And he actually, one of the things that happened to him was that he ended up with a massive swelling where his nuts were the size of a football.
Wow.
Like,
Oh Jesus
football.
Christ.
Wow.
And he had to prop them up. And he could barely walk. When he did walk, he actually had to have them in a bag and had to do this like kind of waddle.
Oh,
I felt so bad for him.
All I keep
That's
thinking as you're
horrible. Poor
talking, all I
guy.
keep thinking is that South Park episode where they purposely expose themselves to radiation and they start bouncing around on their freaking nuts like those bouncy balls. Oh Jesus Christ! Oh yeah. Oh God, it is so funny. So they can get weed. That's why. So they can get medical marijuana. But oh God, yeah.
So
Yep.
Jason's brother actually had testicular cancer and had to have one of his nuts removed. And of course, the first
Does
thing
he have a metal replacement?
No. But the first thing
nudity.
Jason asks about the surgery is, so when you fart, does it whistle now?
What was
Oh
that?
God.
When you fart, does it whistle?
Oh God. Oh.
gosh.
Oh my god.
For Christmas, Jason actually found a walnut ornament.
Oh my god.
Oh shit.
Oh my god.
So distasteful.
I found out, I'm not going to say how I found this out, but I found out that one of the guys that I went to college with, he had 3 nuts.
Oh.
He had
Oh,
triple
wow.
nuts, and he enjoyed showing people that he had 3 nuts.
Wasn't there a guy with 2 dicks
So
that
it
both
wasn't-
apparently functional? He gets like, I remember reading an article about it. Like he's trying to get into porn with it. He hasn't had much success apparently, but he has 2 functioning penises.
Doing.
There are actually women that have 2 uteruses and can get pregnant individually between the 2.
Pink, what is
I've heard of that. Yeah.
As Jason said,
Oh,
money
wow.
I
Oh,
wonder how they're split.
God.
If it's like this, or if it's like this.
It can be either way. I've heard of them both like this and like this. So it can be either.
Oh my god.
That's interesting.
I should have a dragon painted on both, like a 2-headed dragon.
I do not get into the porn industry. Like that's just like interesting at that point. It's like, oh my god,
Yeah.
you out of the way. Like, wow, all right.
What I want to know is
They had John.
can he eject from both of them at the same time?
That I don't know. And I
Talk
remember
about
reading the
double
article. I
fist.
remember thinking, "What the hell?" But I didn't get that detailed in the article.
Man, that's
Why?
a new concept. A double
I
fist.
agree. I agree with Ams. How the hell did he not get into porn? I mean, they had John Wayne Bobbitt in freaking porn because he got his dick cut off, and then they
He's
sewed it back on. I
dickless.
mean, you had a scar.
I mean, come on.
I have no idea.
Well,
I
they
read
have
this
actual
article a
dicks,
long
like,
time
how
ago.
do you-
It just the highlights stuck with me, but it was one of those. Either he's. My guess is he's probably not successful because of the fact that the star of most porns is not really the guy; it's the what's happening to the girl. So
Except for, I mean, what's that? Isn't there like a midget that has like this huge dick and he's like known in the porn industry?
What about Ron
Oh,
Jeremy?
shit.
What about him?
That guy
Yeah.
is disgusting looking. I would not let that man near me with like a 5-foot football.
Yeah,
Impressive at this point.
but he has like massive dick though. Massive.
yeah,
And he's massively disgusting.
yeah.
Could you imagine how many people he's been with?
Uh-huh.
ugh.
That makes
God.
it more impressive.
Way
It's
more
just like,
than
dude, this guy won the lottery. Like, wow. I mean, really?
Also,
Impressive at that point.
God, what was the guy in the 70s, that porn star that apparently had like the huge thing, the huge dick?
Ron Jeremy was
My
one
God,
of
have
them.
you seen him? Did you see him like when he was, in the 70s? Oh my God,
No.
the amount of hair.
He was very hairy.
The amount of hair.
Everybody was hairy in the 70s. Yeah.
He had the
Oh,
fro,
God,
he
yeah.
had the chest hair, he had everything. And I'm just like, wow.
If you watch 70s porn, everybody has hair everywhere. Like the women are hairy as hell, the men are hairy as hell. It's like how do you find anything? Because all you see is hair. That's all you see.
Do you need a machete? Like a little knife, just like whack the bush away.
Okay, if you're doing all the stuff that you're doing in those porns, could you matted their hair together? Matted their hair together.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh.
There's
I didn't think about that.
The hair's all braided
that's-
together.
There's such thing as pube dreadlocks? Oh, I know.
Tripped up.
Any hair
Oh,
can dreadlock,
God.
Yep.
Ooh.
Honey,
Yep.
That's gotta
you ain't
stink.
seen nothing until you seen that matted.
That's
From what I've heard,
That's gotta smell
I'm
so
still a very
bad.
young individual, so My God, it's anything.
I think we've aged you a little bit tonight, unfortunately, Ams. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No, I've been scarred. I'm
think so,
surprised.
too.
I'm surprised I could learn more. So.
Oh, and this
Go
is
for it.
mild. We could teach you a lot more.
Oh my
fuck is this
god.
mild? You're not. Ah, how is this
We
mild?
actually had a dog come in the other day that could not poop nor pee, male dog, by the way, because his hair had dreadlocked and matted and clogged the works.
Oh.
Sucks.
Like literally.
Oh God.
So he had to get like shaved down, and the minute, thank God this wasn't something I was personally dealing with, I just kind of saw it happen. The minute they shaved like the hair off his prep piece, because all that schmegma and like drippy urine had kind of like dreadlocked and clogged it all up, the minute they got that out of the way, he just peed a river. He was like, oh thank God.
I bet he was just
Oh
shaking
my
with
gosh.
relief.
Oh, he was. It was hilarious because like the hair on boy dogs prep pieces gets all gummed up. So usually anytime you can, you just zip it off with with the clippers to just clean it up.
I'm so glad, man.
But it gets
short-haired.
It could get like it usually ends up green and kind of yellow stained, and it like can dreadlock up. And if it gets like goes the wrong way, it kind of builds up in there, and then you have more penis butter, which is always fun. But it can like dreadlock up there and get all stuck, and yeah, it's kind of gross. The worst part is somebody has to clean the clippers after they're done fixing that.
I think the worst I've ever had to deal with.
Oh no! You just toss those suckers. Toss those suckers and go buy
Throw them
another
into
pair.
a fire, the nearest kiln, and let them melt.
No.
No.
They're expensive. You don't throw away
Not
good
enough
clippers.
bleach in
You
the world. No.
clean them up.
Fuck that.
I think the funniest of Magnus was when I had to take him in just for a regular appointment, and they asked if I had a poop sample, and I was like, sorry, I forgot one. They said, oh, don't worry, we'll get one. I'm sitting there waiting. All I hear is this.
Oh.
And I'm like,
They went,
I know.
Oh no! We have sticks. It's about an 8-inch long stick, and it's hard plastic. And on the end is this like the little teardrop, like opening, and you shove it in, and you like swizzle it around, then you pull it out, and you have poop on the end of the stick.
So they came back and I said, so you were able to get a sample, and they're like, yeah. I was like, I heard.
we do it similarly with humans, but you use.
Yeah. Thankfully, we have the stick.
Now I'm thinking about it. I don't think I could be a farmhand either. I don't think I could impregnate cows. No.
One of my favorite shows on the Animal Channel is it's Dr. Polak or something. He's a Polish vet. He does everything.
Are you the same way I am about medical shows? You can't watch veterinary shows because I can't watch medical shows.
I don't watch medical shows because it's too close. That's what I live my life. That's my life. I don't need to watch it. But I will say, and sorry, you opened a can of worms. I have to jump on my soapbox for one moment.
Go for it.
Dr. Pol is a malpracticing piece of shit hack who doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Okay.
Whoa! I had no idea.
Sorry.
I've only heard of him. I've never seen him.
Preach, cat, preach.
Wow.
The man has absolutely no concept of sterility. He does not use pain meds. He tosses animals into cages and says, if they're still alive tomorrow, I'll send them home. He is an absolute hack. As a farm vet, he's good. Cows, pigs, that sort of stuff, sure. When it comes to like companion animals, everything he does is like wrong and malpractice. Like he's been filmed doing intra-abdominal procedures just wearing gloves.
What?
Yeah, no cap, no mask, no gown, no nada. Just gloves. And
it doesn't matter that they're a different species. Some of those gut microbes can jump species.
He doesn't do any of that. And he's beloved because he cares about animals. He doesn't charge much.
He can't charge much
because he's not good.
Worms.
Yeah, sorry. I apologize. I derailed this slightly.
No,
but when it comes to the animal field, if you actually say his name with any sort of like reverence, you're like, we're all like, ugh. There's actually been multiple malpractice filings against him, and he's actually been found guilty more than once.
Okay.
I've done the same. I've done the same with. I've actually been in here again. I can't say much of anything, but
HIPAA rules, you know.
Oh no, this goes beyond HIPAA. At one point, I worked for a very higher power. So I really got to watch what I say.
Fair.
This doctor, I was doing an audit, and I found significant evidence of fraud, malpractice, and abuse.
Oh God.
And
wow.
he is currently serving out a very extensive term and has had his license revoked.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that's basically what Dr. Pohl is. Like, he's that level of, you know, his medicine was in vogue and was appropriate before we knew better. 50
In the
years
70s,
ago.
60s, 70s.
Even then,
when
truthfully, we knew better. But
they were smoking weed.
yeah,
They
I mean, this
didn't
guy's
care.
been practicing forever. And when it comes to farm animals, that's a different kettle of fish because, like, cows, it's amazing. Like, there's different rules for farm animals because they are different species. They have different healing capabilities. Like, what they need in terms of sterility and treatment are different than companion animals.
Mm-hmm.
But what he does to dogs and cats, and
Right.
it makes me sick to my stomach.
Okay, that's good to
It really does. Like, he's
But farm
just,
animals, a lot of
Yeah.
them are they're prey animals. So they're much more fragile. So
it depends. Cows are hardy as shit. Cows are ridiculously hardy. Like, cows have C-sections standing through their flanks, and you pull the baby out, sew them up, and the doc's standing there with sterile gloves, sterile instruments, usually wearing a gown, but it's in the middle of a barn.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know,
Oh, I
not in
saw-
an
I
OR
saw-
theater because farm animals, aren't going to get transported to a nice, clean, sterile OR. If they're not fixable in the field, they're going to get culled for food.
I was
So,
gonna say,
different.
if you take them to a sterile OR, it's not gonna be sterile any longer.
Exactly.
They're pretty gross.
Because they're tromping in all the
Yeah.
shit that they've been standing in anyway.
Yeah,
Oh, and
I mean,
I saw something where a vet was this cow had given birth and her actually like the uterus and everything came out.
You have to
And
shove
they're
it back
sitting
in.
there shoving it back in and sewed it all up and that was it.
They do that with women.
yeah, it happens to women too, but it happens to cows, it happens to horses, it happens to cats, dogs.
I've had to shove those things back in. You just put on the right equipment and
Yep.
Oh, no,
and
the vet literally just picked it up and was just shoving it back in.
pretty much. Oh,
it's
and you guys,
inside out.
I forgot. I have to show you guys. I actually have a good picture of penis butter.
Oh, come on, why?
I don't think she wants it. I think we should. I don't know about that, Kat. You might end up.
Show the podcast. I'll
Show the penis butter.
Okay, I'll take
Close
a
your
look.
eyes, Ams. Close your eyes.
No, it's fine. It's
Who
fine.
wants
I'll
to
do
see
it.
it?
Oh, show it. Show
Go
the
it.
penis
Go for it.
Now,
Go.
this photo is not mine. It is basically stolen from a group that I'm in.
Yep.
What the hell? What am I looking
Oh
at?
God, that is disgusting.
Oh, nope. Oh, God.
Oh, that is penis butter. That is
God.
not good. Ugh.
So gross.
Nope.
Cheese.
Nope.
Sorry.
Oh.
Oh, so gross.
Well,
And
with
it's just like, I'm just
with
thinking
that
Men get that
lovely
too. Men can get that too if they
With
don't
that-
clean.
Yep. And I had to kind of get us back to our core topic
With
for
that
the night,
lovely
which was penises,
statement.
so.
we are at after the 10 o'clock mark.
Oh my God.
I wanted to share with y'all something that Chan popped up in the chat. This is rather funny. I'm gonna share this into our page as well, but yeah, I do believe that Mr. Potato Head is well hung if that is his item. because that is a hell of a member compared to his size.
I think
That is a huge dick.
Talk about a stuffed baked potato.
That's funny.
Well, I was thinking more of more blue balls.
Yeah, no shit.
See, the thing is that she can go out and buy whatever size she wants.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Talk about plug and play.
Oh shit.
Maybe it has a vibrating function.
Oh my god.
Or one of those functions.
Plunge your penis.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I wonder if it has the gyrating beads inside of it.
Butterfly their flickers.
What's
There
the thing she
are
liked
some
about
really
penis
good
butter?
ones with
Really,
the little
Matt?
rabbits
That's the
and.
boys?
Oh god. Yes, Jason. Men, please clean your junk. God.
Yes.
Please.
Yes,
Please clean your junk.
I had no idea what that was. That was
If
a
you
thing.
want us anywhere near that, I gotta clean it.
Oh.
Exactly. Keep it groomed. Keep it clean.
That's right.
Manscaping.
Exactly.
Men. Manscaping.
It's a thing.
Basic hygiene. Just clean. That's
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
Just,
Wash it. Wash
Wild
it.
open
Soap and
clean.
water. Please.
oh God, that's just
Clean underwear.
vile. Vile.
And the balls
Yes.
too.
And don't be a dick. And just don't
Well,
be a dick
that's
either.
kind of hard for
You know?
guys not to be sometimes.
Because they got one. So how can they not
You know,
be one?
I think if women were bitches as much as men are dicks, men would stop being a dick because they'd be like, "Oh God, really? You're quite a bitch." And I'd be like, "Yeah, you keep being a dick, I'm gonna keep being a bitch." It would end. We could end the cycle.
I don't know.
Well, ladies, I do believe it is time for us to call it a night.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
especially before Am's
Yeah,
decides
thank you. I'm
that
gonna pass out now.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'm
Am-
sorry,
Am-
Am.
she's gonna have nightmares.
I learned
She's
today.
gone from green. She's gone from green to pale to really pale to I'm going, should we call Max and find out whether or not, you're okay? Have him come check on you.
I'm good.
I was gonna say, you rather pale there for a little bit.
Kelly, I actually got pale. Okay.
Yep.
I felt
Yeah,
nauseous.
You were
Yep.
a little green at once.
Oh.
I'm sorry. We didn't mean to gross you
No,
out.
it's okay. I won't know unless someone tells me. I need to experience it. It's
This
just
is
hard
true.
part of life, It was
Hey.
gonna happen at one point. So
Wait till you have kids. I haven't had them yet, but
neither have I, and I'm not looking forward to that because I've heard horror stories of all kinds of fluids coming out of you when that happens. So I'm not gonna look forward to that.
Show about that. That's a whole show all by itself.
That could be oh God, yes.
Oh.
There is things they don't tell you this stuff. You can go through all the childbirth classes you want to, and they don't tell you a quarter of what the hell happens.
Oh my God. Like, oh
You
man.
got shit going on that you're like, what on earth is this? Yes. All right. Well, all right, ladies. Let's see here. Let's pop some. You guys can hit us up on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. And of course, we're on our YouTube page. A big shout out to Eddie Dust Mites for our theme music. A big shout out to MPSP Theater on Friday nights. They actually let me very graciously post up our promos on their page because they have a lot more people that watch than we do. And shout out to the Nerds Have Spoken. They have been a big help. And with that, does anybody have anything that they want to promote before we bail out?
I just want to say thank you to the nurses in all fields, regardless of how gross, I got how grossed out I got. I want to say thank you to you guys, especially during this time.
Vet techs, all those who take care of our
True heroes.
two-legged and four-legged, and see all.
We wouldn't be doing anything different.
Yeah,
So
no,
thank
I
you
can't
for
imagine doing anything.
doing what you do.
I was born to do this. I knew at the age of 4 I wanted to be a nurse. And with my new
wow.
job, I'll actually be able to go back to school and move further into my career.
That's
'Cause-
awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Eventually, I'll be able to not do so much floor nursing because I'm like in a 90-year-old body at this point. Because you get hurt. I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
gosh.
I feel like 1,000 years old most days. Like I'm like
Yeah.
I do everything I can to avoid trying to get on the floor, like with the big animals. I'm like, I'm getting stools. I'm doing anything I can. I'm like, if I kneel down on this floor, you're gonna have to help my ass up.
I don't even think about that because I don't have that chance with humans because right now I'm in their homes and you don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
And let me just say,
Right.
anybody that's listening, if you have a loved one that is elderly, check on them because you never know what they're stuck in.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it is what it is, but at the same time, we can do a lot more as a society to be able to take care of everybody. Not just the elderly. I'm talking about like everybody. I mean, even in this time, do you know how many deaths have been just from suicide right now? Suicide rates are astronomical right now. So check
So
on
many
your
people are alone.
Well, in the stock market's tanking, the economy is tanking. People are losing a lot of their friends because they're not in constant contact. We've got a lot of depression, anxiety that is now showing effect.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also have people that are stuck at home with their families that they've never had to have full contact with their families. And they're taking it out on their families. So there's been a lot of domestic violence.
Yep.
So it's big right now. So if you have friends and family, check on them.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
And just a little PSA just from my end of things. And total props to the human medical field. Like seriously, what you do, I couldn't do it. Like I said, I grew up in a family of nurses. I couldn't do it. I went the opposite route. I'm like, humans, no, thank you. But veterinarians, and I've actually kind of like not really mentioned what I do. Like I've kind of danced around it, but I'm a veterinarian. I am. That's what I do.
Which is awesome.
We need that.
Doctor. I am technically a doctor of veterinary medicine, and it's kind of I've been dancing around it only because my field actually has, out of all occupations, currently has the highest suicide rate of any profession. We've exceeded dentists,
which is surprising because dentists have for years had the highest suicide rate.
We've exceeded
people
that.
Hate them. Because people really hate them.
Well, unfortunately, it's headed my way. In my field, we actually have a ridiculously high suicide rate because of cyberbullying. People don't like their bills. They go online and they blast the vet. They
can't pay your bills.
People don't realize that we cannot do our work for free. We have to keep the lights on, the employees paid, and dogs and cats don't have Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Actually, there is an actual animal insurance you can.
There is, but it's still pay up front and get reimbursed later.
Yeah,
you still have to pay.
Right.
So when
medical
Fluffy comes in and Fluffy has an emergency or needs a surgery and people can't afford it, the anger and animosity gets blasted to the veterinarian.
I have a great relationship with my vet.
Mm-hmm.
I call her up. I'm like, Dr. Kinzer, this is what's going on. Can you help me out? Because I don't like to go to that. They're
but but a lot of vets get a lot of anger from their owners, especially now, because people are stressed, and veterinarians, we're going to curbside or drop off appointments, full person exposure because of the virus, and people don't appreciate, and the amount of verbal abuse on the phone to support staff and doctors is immense. And I personally have lost a classmate to suicide. This was actually well before the virus. I am in multiple Facebook groups designed to maintain mental health in veterinarians. It is something that if you do a little bit of research on, like Google, you can see it, but be kind to everybody,
Yeah,
that's the big
especially
thing.
during
Be
this
kind
time.
because the people that are trying to take, we're trying to take care of your furry friends and,
Or your loved ones.
Yep.
and abusing us does not help, and it just makes our mental health worse, right?
Just be kind to
I have-
everybody.
I have a
Exactly.
note. I have a page attached to my desk that I pulled off of Facebook and I printed it out, and it's perfect. It's kindness is free. Sprinkle that stuff on everything. So, and I think that that's what all of us need to do is just, even if it's a fucked up thing that you're going through or that somebody else is going through, or you've had one of those days, just freaking smile. Be nice to people.
Exactly. Be kind.
Be kind, rewind.
Well,
Oh,
ladies.
this is wrong decade.
Be kind, rewind. Yes.
Well, right now it should be
All right,
kind
ladies.
and keep your junk clean.
Yep.
And wash your hands. God, please. Yes.
And wear your
God.
mask.
Wear your mask.
Over your
And
nose.
if you live in
Over
Virginia,
your nose.
Yeah, over the nose.
Over
Over the nose.
and your
From here to
yes.
here.
And if you live in Virginia, be on alert because starting tomorrow, you have to wear a mask in any building that has other people in it, except to your family. Let you know.
That's already affecting Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Maryland.
Virginia is one of the behind ones. We're
Oh,
one of
I
the
live
ones
in
that are
Florida.
going,
We're
oh
so
yeah,
far
by the
behind.
way.
It's not even funny.
Oh yeah, y'all are.
Yeah.
That's Florida for you.
All right, guys. Good night, everybody.
Have a good night.
Bye.
My stomach is hurting from laughing so hard.
Are you
Oh
gonna be
my God.
Are you
That
gonna be
is
okay?
That was awesome.